You're listening to Thank God I's weekly equilibration course, presented by John Castanini and Janetta Barry.
Welcome everybody to today's call. As we've mentioned during the course of this week, both John and I are in transit, so we decided to very specially still have a call for you that was pre-recorded so that you could sit and work through the theory and the exercises, even though we haven't been able to present to you live online today. So as always, we're going to start off first with John presenting the theory on this week's topic, which is equilibrating time and money. And then we're going to follow with me giving you some simple and easy to apply exercises. And today you'll be able to get this recording with some visuals, and you'll have the exercises available for you on your screen as well. So welcome, John. Over to you.
Thank you. Yes, and as Janetta said, tonight we're talking about equilibration and money. I put a quote up the other day. A lot of you may be familiar with the quote or have people claim the belief that to you that more money means more freedom or money equals freedom. And I'm going to begin the call based around the illusion of that concept and why it's so important and why I'm bringing that out on this call. I've been fortunate to be able to work for myself and travel the world and make very good money in doing what I love to do for over 20 years. And I've been through learning curves and cycles like anyone usually who goes through the process of learning entrepreneurship and how to manage or save money for themselves. And one of the greatest lessons that became very clear was that one of the reasons I was able to endure and through tremendous challenges, and I had challenges like everyone else has had challenges, was because of one thing, really one key thing. And it actually came out in a Billy Joel song that I just heard actually a few minutes before this call. You might be familiar with the song Moving Out. The point of the song, he says, is basically there's got to be more to life than just working for a house and moving out and retiring. If that's moving up, then I'm moving out, is what he's saying. He's an example of someone who followed what he would love to do with his life. He's someone that followed the path of discovering who he was every single day and taking the path on how do I challenge myself to do what I would truly love to do. Not what I'm supposed to do, not what I think is going to give me a great retirement, not what is going to make me more money in my life, but he knew very clearly that to accumulate true wealth, the foundation for that, the greatest probability that you have in being able to manifest any kind of wealth or finances is based upon you liberating your unique genius. And everyone has a unique genius of contribution. One of the challenges is that most of us haven't been taught what that is, how to access it, and why it's so crucial to truly building wealth. Not just making finances, not just having an income, but building real wealth. Because I began this call with the phrase of money is freedom. And I'd share this. That's the illusion. More money is far from something that provides more freedom. In fact, when you factor in all of the things that have to be done to maintain it, to save it, to invest it, to lend it, to accumulate assets, to look at the depreciation of assets, to deal with laws, legals, accountants, employees, the amount of time and effort and energy that actually goes into it, you could say into accumulating money or dealing with money itself is far from a freedom. But what's more important is to be able to bring yourself to the point where you truly realize that you're already free. I'm going to say that again. I don't care what financial circumstance you're imagining yourself in right now. You don't have this, you want this, your income's been this, you'd like to shift this, doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters in terms of, yeah, you're having emotions about it, but those are all your emotions and those are all your illusions that you're having that are coming from a place of not knowing, uncertainty, and fear. We deal with that in this course. We deal with those emotions, and Janetta is going to share exercises so that you could transcend those emotions. The reason why 1% exists and most people don't ever accumulate wealth in their life is basically because the most popular reason is they don't follow their calling. They don't take the time every day to discover what it is and then learn how to truly build wealth doing what they would love to do and link wealth building, exchange, finances, and financial management to doing what they would love to do sharing their unique genius and living their purpose on this earth. And the process of doing that is something that could be revealed by you evolving your emotions that you have attached to money, or you have attached to the lack of money, or you have attached to finances, so that you could get your mind past all of the doubts and worries and fears and bring yourself to a place of presence. That's why this process of equilibration is so important, because what we do is we go into the mind and the heart to see all of the veils that are in the way of you blocking your genius, your unique purpose from yourself. Think about it. If you're acting, or if you're waking up and you're speaking to other people, or you're making your decisions from a place of, well, what if I lose that and I don't know this, or I fear for that? Think about the energy flow and thinking about the different decisions you're going to make and the people, places, and circumstances that you attract to yourself, as opposed to if you're making your decisions from a place of, I know, I am, I'm certain, I can see, I believe, I'm inspired, I'm open, I see resources. You see, they're completely different existences. And what most of us haven't been taught to do is to prioritize understanding when we're moving from which state. When are we moving from a place of fear and worry, and making it absolutely critical that when we are, we take the time to transcend it, to get ourselves in tune with presence, so that we're making our decisions from a place of higher consciousness in knowing and presence. Because you're going to create completely different results in your life. And the more often that you practice realizing that you're making decisions from a place of lower consciousness, a place of emotional fear or worry or uncertainty, and the more often you realize how to bring yourself to that place of consciousness presence, you see, you pass through a place where your heart and your mind are aligned. You see things that you didn't see before. You see resources that were right in front of you. They existed, but you weren't able to see them because the veil of emotion and the veil of fear didn't allow you to see it. The resources were there. They're in your life. They're already there. Think about it. Do you have access to 500 people right now? 5 people? 50 people? 500? 5,000 people? Right now, based upon the booms in technology and the way we're interconnected with the web, we all have access to people and resources to co-create what we would love in our life. The challenge is that the schooling system really doesn't teach us how to do that. It's a thought process, and the foundation of that thought process, I'm dealing with the very key lower level foundation, is transcending, moving from a place of emotional patterns, which repeat, to bringing yourself to being in tune with your unique genius in service, and then valuing finances and the form of money so that you allow exchange into your life in the form of money and wealth. And we go through a lot of practice with that through these calls, and Jeanette is going to go into those exercises in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to share a couple of other things before she takes over. If you're experiencing challenges with your finances right now, or you have a pattern with them, then one of the things to realize is that that challenge is emanating from inside of you, and it's a lesson coming from the universe to you for you to deal with parts of yourself that are not in a place of balance. So any challenge in any area of life that's coming to us is coming to us because there's patterns that we have, thought processes, emotional addictions, which are fine, they're learning curves, that are pushing us from the outside to get in tune with our genius in the inside. There's a metaphysical reason for anything that's happening in your life. We go deep into why that's actual in this course. And the more in tune you become with who you are, the better you get at tuning into the emotions that block you from the place of presence. What happens is you then become more able to enter that place of presence. As you enter that place of presence, you become clear. And I'll get an example that I had, a real life specific example. One of the challenges I was faced with in terms of accumulating wealth was based upon dealing with authority. I was focused around wanting anyone or anything to have authority over me. And there were times when I discovered that about myself, it became clear I had to equilibrate the illusion illusion of authority and bring myself to a place where I saw an equal balance in it and I appreciated it and I saw how it served me and I saw the disadvantages of just having chaos and no authority. And that was one of my metaphysical reasons, things that I had to deal with, that I had linked to accumulating wealth, dealing with the IRS and them having authority and regulations and systems and so on and so forth. And we all have those. We all have emotional patterns. The key really becomes, as you're practicing, you'll see that you become more clear on what your emotional patterns are, what the block, if you're having a challenge in that area, there's emotional patterns, imbalanced perceptions that are repeating that continue to create your financial reality. It's not about getting a better job. It's really not about getting a better job or making more money. Better being thinking something that's going to make you more money. I've watched people make $400 million and lose it all. I've watched people make money at every level and have it come in the door and come out the door. I've been through the experience myself. And, it's part of life, the roller coaster and the learning curves. But to truly allow yourself to shift and master wealth building being you're already free. Being free means sitting down, getting yourself to a place of inner peace, honoring the perfection that exists, being already right now, being present in the now, and then allowing yourself to see your cycles and transcend the fears, to evolve your consciousness to a place of appreciation, to let it be in a place of presence. And what happens in that place, the more often you go there, the more in tune you are with who you are, and you transcend reacting to the emotional elations and addictions that can run your life and run the same patterns over and over and over. It's the addictions to our emotional patterns that we're all learning, going through the process of learning how to transcend. When you deal with these emotional patterns, when you deal with it at the level of balancing perceptions and bringing yourself to the place of appreciation, think of the word I just shared. You're bringing yourself to a place of presence. You're bringing yourself to a place of appreciation. When you appreciate, what does money do when it appreciates? When money appreciates, that means it grows. Every time you go through this process of balancing out your imbalanced perceptions, bringing yourself to a place of presence, bringing yourself to a place of appreciation, you create a greater level of certainty and self-worth. And because you're resonating in that place, you connect with other people, places, and circumstances in a place of certainty and greater worth and greater value and more in tune with who you'd love to be, and you're expressing your unique genius. That's where you get paid tremendously, because you move from being a wandering generality to a more meaningful specific, and in your specificity, you become more valuable. And you becoming more valuable, you allow yourself to attract greater people, places, and resources into your greater clarity of vision, because every time you pass through this state of presence, which we're sharing with you how to do that, that's what this course is about. First, it's an understanding of it. Second, how do you do it? Well, we do both. Every time you pass through there, you bring yourself to that greater place of appreciation and present, but you're becoming more in tune with, like I said, your unique inspiration. And if you're sourcing your life from that place every day, you're resonating from a very empowered place. That empowered place is a place where you truly can create what you would love to create. Think about moving from a place of need to, got to, have to, should to's, ought to's, guilt, or moving from a place of inspiration, open-hearted love and inspiration and presence. The people in the field of resources that open up to you from that place, as you're in line with your true self, exponentially increases the resources that you attract to your vision. I watch it happen every day with this company. And I began this call with money not being freedom, because that's the illusion. I've watched that create people on both sides, chasing money, thinking they're going to get freedom when they have it, so they actually never actually get either. They don't get the money or they don't get the freedom. And then I've watched people have a lot of money and be so attached to it that it became their identity and they didn't have any freedom. So the parting message I would like to share is that everyone here has tremendous, unique value. Nature doesn't completely reproduce replicas of anything. Even identical twins have different genes, different epigenetics, because we all have a uniqueness. The more you tune into that, the more you allow yourself, you become empowered to transcend the fear and bring yourself to love. And the more certain you become in who you are and you allow yourself to express it, and then you look for a fair exchange and you value wealth building and link wealth building skills, which we go through the course on how to link wealth building to your values, the less money will be a pressure that comes you, and the more you will allow yourself to follow that inner voice and your inspiration and allow money to link to your whatever your vision is for your life. That's the place of inspiration. That's the greatest probability you have of producing wealth in your life and not letting money slip away in your entire life. I'm honored that we can share the skill with you now on how to overcome those fears. A, how do you get in touch with them? How do you find them? Any of the emotions that are running your patterns, they come from your parents, come from all kinds of places. Your schooling, your experiences, your fears, your imaginary, your nightmares. We're sharing, okay, let's find them and let's balance them. And Jeanette is going to get into some exercise so that you could get in tune with any of the things that you're in your way so that you could bring yourself to this place of presence more consistently. It's the greatest secret that exists on this planet right now. It's the one right before everyone's eyes. Appreciating now in a place of inner peace and presence. Yet the more you do this, the more you'll be able to look around and see the people and places and circumstances being up and down on roller coasters. And if you have the ability to bring yourself to a place of presence in the eye of the storm, then you're the master. So I'd like to thank you all for being here as Janetta shares some of the exercises.
All right, everyone. Going to start off. Tonight's exercises are very, very basic. Obviously, with something like money, many people are charged about money. I would actually generalize and say that just about everybody has a charge about money. So tonight's exercises are going to be very basic. There are many other ways to start addressing the money charge through equilibration, but I don't want to confuse you all. This is our basic introduction to equilibration tonight. So I'm going to give you two very basic exercises to work with. If you'd like to work more and expand more with your money charges and really become able to master them really, really deeply, please do speak to either John or me and we'll show you ways on how to expand your money consciousness and bring your charges into a place of open-hearted manageability. But for starters, we're going to start with just two exercises for tonight, and then I'm going to open up to enable you to get clarity on what I've spoken about and, where possible, contribute. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to say to you is we're going to work in the 7 life areas. Now, again, we've got quite a few new people on the call tonight. Please, those of you who are seasoned in this call, please bear with me repeating them again. It never hurts to hear it all again. The 7 areas are spiritual. Now, spiritual is not religious. Spiritual is about faith and trust. And it can be about, in terms of applying these exercises, it would be about where you've gained faith and trust in skills, techniques, experience, and exposure. And within that faith and trust, it can be faith and trust in yourself, gained or lost, faith and trust in others, or faith and trust in circumstances, all gained and lost. And where you've gained or lost skills, techniques, experience, or exposure. Then the next one is mental, where you've gained or lost mental skills, techniques, experience, exposure. Then we go into physical. Now again, physical can be in many dynamics, but we're looking at it as physically within and part of your body and physically around you in your sphere of influence and beyond. And we would look at the skills, techniques, the experience and the exposure gained or lost physically. Then into the social side of things, where you've gained or are gaining or losing skills, techniques, experience, or exposure in social circles, your social skills. Into the familial, your family, skills, techniques, experience, and exposure gained and lost within your family and your family dynamic. And some people say they don't have family. We all have family in different forms. It could be people that are like your family, that feel like your family. I have one client whose family is 8 dogs and 2 cats. So family comes in different forms. So all that dynamic can be applied there. Then into finances, skills, techniques, experience, and exposure gained or lost in your finances. And then through to your vocation, the vocational side, your work, or your life purpose, or for some, your work is your life purpose. So those are the 7 areas. Now, the questions I'm going to ask you, 2 questions to begin with, are to do with where we fantasize and where we are fearful or we have a nightmare about. So the first one is, you write this down. No money worries would make me feel, and finish that sentence. No money worries would make me feel free to travel, to get the house I want, to spend on my family, to spend on myself, to study more. Whatever it is, write down that list as comprehensively as you can. And then on the other side, finish this sentence. No money or lack of money makes me feel ... and finish that sentence. And list, it makes me feel insecure. It makes me incapable of being responsible. It makes me incapable of having my own things. It makes me unable to interact with my family, my friends. Write all those fears down and make it as comprehensive as you can. And then you are going to choose out of those 2 lists, go to the first list and choose the one in your list that has the biggest amount of emotion attached to it, the biggest charge of all, the elation emotion, and go to the one where your fears are and choose the one that has the biggest amount of fearfulness attached to it, biggest amount of fearful emotion attached to it. You're going to take those 2 and now start this exercise. First, start with the fearful one, because I am generalizing, but most people have fear of money. Their fears overrun and in their perception overrule everything. In actual fact, their fantasy is running deeply underneath it all. But we'll start with the fearful one. So perhaps I'm going to try and do it by example. Maybe your biggest fear is that if I have no money makes me feel powerless. Maybe it's that. Maybe I feel so powerless. I feel as though I lose all my freedom. I can't make any decisions without money, and no money makes me feel powerless. So now you would say, okay, in not having money, what does not having money enable me to do and to become that would be lost? When I have no money, what does it push me to do and to become? Go into the past even, and even into the perceived future. What has it and what does it allow me to become and to do that would be lost if I always had a flow of money? So you would start, what does it enable me to do and become in terms of faith and trust in myself? What do I gain in faith and trust when I don't have money? What does it enable me to do with others in faith and trust? And in circumstances that if I always had a flow of money would be lost. What is a lack of money enabling me to do and to become within the spiritual sphere of my 7 life areas? Then when you've written that list down, you're going to go into mental skills. What mental skills, by not having money, is it pushing me to employ and expand on and practice with that if I always had peace with mind with my money, I would lose out on? So an example would be, it pushes me into problem solving skills. So I have to start working out things differently. And I come up with solutions I would never have thought of if money was always constantly flowing. So you would start listing that as comprehensively as you can. What mental skills, techniques, experience, and exposure are you gaining when you are sitting in a place of no money, when there's no money to be had or very little? What does it push you to become mentally? Then you go into physical. What physical skills, techniques, experience, and exposure does a lack of money enable you to start working with that would be lost if you were always feeling as though your money was always always flowing. So it might be that instead of going to gym, it pushes you to walk instead, or run, or do yoga at home, or do whatever, and start listing what not doing for yourself physically is enabling you to do by not having money. It might be that it changes your diet. It might be, there could be 100 things. In fact, this is where the 7 areas are all interconnected. Look at what it's making you do socially, and so on. In your physical side, what it's pushing you to do with your family, what it's pushing you to do with your money-making decision skills, what it's pushing you to do with your work side as well. So it's all interconnected on the physical side as well. They're all interconnected. But get that list as comprehensive as possible. Then go into social skills. What social skills does it enable you to start working with? And where does it deepen your ability to socialize in new ways, new skills, new experiences, new exposure socially, that if you always had money, you would lose out on? That even goes into back to mental and physical. What communication skills does it push you to employ socially? And then even if we go into the family, what family social skills does it, and communication skills, does it enable you to start working on, practicing on, and expanding on that you've never been able to before, or you've very rarely done before because now you don't have money in your life? And then carry on into the family. Who's it pushing you to draw closer to? And socially, who's it pushing you to draw closer to? Who's it giving you new conversations with, new ways of interacting, new ways of solving problems with, new ways of inventing, that if you always had a flow of money would be lost? Then into the finances side. In not having money, what's it pushing you to do and become that would be lost if you were always to have a flow of money? What does a lack of flow of money do in terms of your making decisions? What does it push you to do differently with your money that actually enhances you, that if you always had a flow of money would be lost? And then into your work side, what's it pushing you to do? What new decision-making skills, what new ways of reasoning within your work is it enabling you to work with that would be lost if you always had a flow of money? So that's the first side of the exercise, is dealing with that fear of a lack of money. Then we're going to go over onto the other side where you had written your list of no money worries would make me feel. So maybe it would be the opposite of that. I'll keep on this same example. No money fears would make me feel liberated, independent, and powerful. And this is an example. It may not be yours. I'm just giving the example in counterbalance to the example I gave on the other side. So again, you would start with spiritual. In my being liberated and powerful and independent, and what do I lose faith and trust in? What skills, techniques, experience, and exposure do I lose out on in terms of faith and trust and spiritually by having that powerful independence and feeling free? What do I start losing in terms of faith and trust? And make your lists from there. Then into mental. What skills, techniques, experience, and exposure do I lose in my mental skills? What does it stop me from being able to expand on if in other words, where does being liberated and independent and powerful not serve me? What does it stop me from doing mentally? What skills, techniques, experience, and exposure does it prevent me from employing because I'm in that space only? Then into the physical. What does it stop me from doing physically, either within my physical body or outside in my sphere of influence or beyond? What skills, techniques, experience, and exposure am I losing physically by being independent, powerful, and so on, by having lots of money? Then into social skills. What social skills does it prevent you from employing that by not being powerful, by not being independent, by all those things not being there? What does it stop you and prevent prevent you from experiencing, that not being would enable you to experience. Into the family as well. Who and what does it prevent you from interacting with? Where does it stop you from? What qualities does it prevent you from working and expanding on because you've always feeling powerful and independent within your family? Then you go again into your finances. By you feeling powerful and independent and so on, what does it prevent you from doing with your finances that feeling disempowered and not independent and trapped enables you to create with your finances? And then into your work as well. Where does being powerful and independent and all those things that you perceive, if this is your example, money will give you, what is it preventing you from doing that, not having those qualities of feeling empowered and independent would give you? Now, just to remind you, this isn't saying that being powerful and independent doesn't serve you. It does. The essence of these exercises is to understand that where you believe there is more value and disservice in one thing, these questions are enabling you to acknowledge still that the value is there, but bring in the equal amount of disservice so that you're not attached to just the value or just the service of it. That you can see both sides of that balancing scale and bring your perceptions into a place of open-hearted manageability so that you become very clear, focused and certain of where whatever it is you were attached to, where what you perceived was not acceptable is serving you to the same degree as what you perceived you were attached to isn't serving you, as much as what you are attached to is serving you and what you fear most isn't, so that you have an equal balance of both on both sides. So I want to thank you for being with us this evening, and we look forward to having you this time next week on next week's call as I send you lots of love. Bye.
Thank God I, guiding people through their greatest challenges to a place of appreciation.